In 1955, the American car scene was booming, but not every ride was safe. It had no seat belts, stiff steel dashboards, and poor crash protection. Its new V8 engine brought speed, and a deafening roar that filled the cabin. Handling was vague, brakes were primitive, and at highway speeds, it felt more like flying blind. Stylish? Yes. Safe? Not even close. Dear viewers, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you for your support. Number 5, 1955, Cadillac Fleetwood 60 Special, powered by a 331 cubic inch 5.4-liter OHV V8, delivering around 250 horsepower. Smooth and torquey, and known for reliability and quiet idle. Cadillac's V8 was a class leader in refinement for its time, came standard with the Hydra-matic automatic transmission, which was reasonably smooth for the era, but could produce clunky shifts under stress or wear. Featured coil spring front suspension and semi-elliptic rear leaf springs, delivering a famously floaty ride. Unfortunately, this also meant body roll, nosedive under braking, and instability on uneven roads at speed. Despite Cadillac's luxury reputation, the soft suspension and large body panels meant body creaks, groans, and tire slap were common, especially over rough roads. It had decent insulation for its time, but road and engine noise still penetrated at highway speeds, particularly from the bias ply tires and through the wide steel floor pan. Equipped with four-wheel drum brakes, which struggled under repeated or emergency use due to fade and long stopping distances, a critical flaw in a car that weighed over 4,500 pounds. Steering and handling. The recirculating ball steering system was vague and slow, with limited feedback. Combined with the suspension, this led to dangerous situations during evasive maneuvers. No crumple zones or rollover protection. Side impact danger. The tall, thin doors and lack of side reinforcement meant T-bone collisions were especially deadly. Interior hazards. The metal dashboard, unpadded steering wheel, and sharp chrome trim created high injury risks in crashes. The Fleetwood 60 Special was Cadillac's symbol of executive-class luxury, loaded with chrome, prestige, and presence. It was popular with affluent buyers and looked the part of a prestige sedan. However, beneath the opulence lay serious compromises in braking, handling, and safety. Number 4, 1955 Plymouth Plaza, powered by either a flathead inline-6 or the new polyspheric 5.8. The engines were functional but coarse and unrefined, especially at higher RPMs. As an economy model, the Plaza had minimal insulation, meaning road wind and engine noise freely entered the cabin. Conversations at highway speeds were difficult without yelling. Manual transmissions often produced gear whine, and the clutch could be jerky and loud with wear. Automatics weren't much better, offering sluggish and noisy shifts. Like many cars of the era, it featured a rigid, non-collapsible steering column. In a frontal crash, this could impale the driver, a major hazard before collapsible columns became standard in the late 1960s. Most 1955 Plazas shipped without seatbelts, and buyers rarely added them. The metal dashboard and hard plastic knobs became lethal objects in collisions, especially without airbags or restraints. All-around drum brakes were undersized for the car's weight. Brake fade was common, especially in panic stops or downhill driving. Thin bias ply tires and rudimentary leaf spring suspension made for poor grip and body control, particularly in emergency maneuvers or on wet roads. The body structure lacked reinforcements. It had thin door skins, no side impact beams, and a rigid frame that transferred crash energy directly into the cabin. In a rollover or side collision, passenger protection was virtually non-existent. The 1955 Plymouth Plaza was a working-class car, inexpensive, reliable for basic commuting, and easily repaired. But it came at the cost of refinement and virtually zero crash protection. While its simple design has retro charm today, back then it was a dangerously loud, bare metal box on wheels in the event of an accident. Number 3, 1955. Ford Mainline. The Mainline came with bare floors, little to no firewall padding, and thin door panels. That meant engine drone, wind rush, and tire rumble filled the cabin constantly. It came with a standard inline 6 or optional V8. Both were audible under acceleration, but the 6-cylinder was particularly loud and underpowered on highways. Poor sealing and basic suspension meant the cabin transmitted a lot of road shock and mechanical vibration, especially on rough surfaces. As with many cars of the era, the Mainline lacked seat belts, padded dashboards, or collapsible steering columns, making any crash far more dangerous. Steel dashboard and knobs. Like its competitors, it featured a metal dash with protruding controls, which could cause serious injuries in even low-speed accidents. Its lightweight construction, intended to reduce cost, resulted in weaker door panels and roof structure, offering very little impact absorption. A solid metal column was a common and deadly design choice, which could spear the driver in a frontal crash. The all-drum system provided inconsistent stopping power, and brake fade was a serious risk on long descents or in emergency stops. Ford designed the Mainline with affordability first, so safety and noise suppression were not part of the engineering emphasis. It was marketed as dependable transportation, not luxury, not performance, and certainly not protection. The 1955 Ford Mainline was bare-bones transport, appealing at the time for its price and mechanical simplicity, but its lack of crash survivability, loud and unrefined ride, and absence of even the most basic safety gear made it one of the least protective cars of the decade. Number 2, 1955, Studebaker President Noise. The President's 259 or optional 289 cubic inch V8s were powerful, but mechanically noisy, with noticeable tappet and lifter clatter even under normal driving. The aging chassis design and relatively thin body panels meant the car was prone to squeaks, creaks, and rattles, especially on rough or uneven roads. The Studebaker line struggled to match the noise insulation levels of the Big Three: Ford, GM, Chrysler. Wind noise and road roar easily intruded into the cabin at highway speeds. The sloped rear roofline and small rear window created significant blind spots, making backing up and lane changes more hazardous. The manual, or early power steering, was vague and slow to respond, especially at higher speeds or in emergency maneuvers. Like many mid-50s cars, it had four-wheel drum brakes prone to fade under hard use, offering long stopping distances. No crash safety features. There were no seat belts, crumple zones, or dash padding, and the metal dash and steering column were serious injury risks in a crash. Despite its V8 power, the weight distribution and suspension setup led to understeer and body roll, making high-speed driving precarious. Studebaker emphasized style and horsepower in the President, but it couldn't match competitors in refinement or safety engineering. Its smaller size compared to other full-size sedans gave it some agility, but not enough to offset its weaknesses in braking and high-speed control. The 1955 Studebaker President had bold styling and strong V8 performance, but was plagued by mechanical noise, poor visibility, and a lack of modern safety features. It was a car that looked fast and upscale, but in terms of engineering, it was showing its age by mid-decade. Number 1, 1955, Oldsmobile 88. The 324 cubic inch rocket, Phi 8, was a pioneer in muscle car performance, but it came with a deep, resonant exhaust note and mechanical engine noise that intruded into the cabin. Though marketed as a family-friendly performance car, many drivers noted that it had a stiff and unsettled ride, especially over uneven roads. Body structure transmitted a lot of road feel into the cabin, Like many 1950s vehicles, the Olds 88 lacked modern insulation. Wind, tire, and engine noise were ever present at highway speeds. There were no seat belts, no energy-absorbing steering column, and no dash padding. The steel dashboard and protruding knobs were dangerous in a collision. While built to handle V8 power, the frame and body lacked crumple zones or side impact protection. High-speed crashes often resulted in serious cabin intrusion. Four-wheel drum brakes were standard and prone to fade, especially under repeated or emergency braking. A critical flaw in a car built to go fast. Recirculating ball steering and heavy front-end weight made for slow, imprecise response, especially in evasive maneuvers. Oldsmobile marketed the 88 as a high-performance car, and it was. The Rocket V8 gave it real speed, especially when paired with the optional 4-barrel carburetor. But GM engineers in this era prioritized acceleration over accident survivability. The 1955 Oldsmobile 88 was a fast, stylish, and influential car, helping to spark the horsepower wars, but it was a serious safety risk by today's standards. It combined a powerful engine with outdated handling, noisy refinement, and zero passive safety features, making it a thrill to drive and a nightmare in a crash.